Good morning. Hope you're having a great beginning to your day. Yesterday, the news broke about the sad passing of John McAfee, who we all know because if you have McAfee antivirus on your computer, you know about the man who founded it, 75-year-old man who allegedly hung himself in a prison cell in Spain, as the judge ruled that he would be extradited to the United States for tax evasion accusations and cryptocurrency schemes where he took money from other people. And I was thinking about it a lot. Here's a man who was so successful. He started McAfee antivirus. Every single person knows about it. He was worth, at his heyday, at least over $100 million. He ran for president as a libertarian, I think in 2016. And yet his demise came possibly at his own hands in a prison cell while he was either evading taxes or at least accused of it. And it made me think of a verse in this week's Torah portion when Bilam wants to curse the Jewish people. And at the end, he ends up blessing them 3 times till the king of Moab gets so upset at him and chases him away. And I probably told you this story before, but it always rings well and stays in my mind of the time when I was in the Chabad Peace Corps, which the Lubavitcher Rebbe founded when President Kennedy called on Americans to join the Peace Corps and to devote their summers to help others in underprivileged countries. The Rebbe said everything has to have a spiritual Jewish component, and the Rebbe started the Chabad Peace Corps, where us students would take a summer and we would go travel to remote areas and visit Jewish communities that didn't have full-time rabbis or full-time Chabads or were very small, and we would bring Jewish books and Jewish holy mezuzot and tefillin and things like that, and we would meet the community and people would introduce us to new people, and we would spend 6 to 8 weeks of a summer. I did it, I think, for 3 summers. I would spend one summer in Singapore, I spend the summer in Scandinavia, primarily in Norway and Finland. I spend the summer in Luxembourg and Czechoslovakia. I spend the 6 weeks in Germany, and so on and so forth. And one Shabbos, it was I think it was the summer of 94, 95. I spent the Shabbos in a place called Mannheim, Germany. And this was only a few years after the fall of the Iron Curtain, and many, over, I think, 100,000 Jews immigrated from Russia to Germany, and the Germans helped them settle, and all these communities didn't have a large, active Jewish community. There were maybe 1,000 Jews who lived in Mannheim, even after the immigration of Russians, but the Germans, in the restitution process, rebuilt these gorgeous shoals that were destroyed by the Nazis. They were brand new and sophisticated. Of course, they had security guards and were behind walls. But beautiful shoals. So I'm spending the Shabbos. I'm 19, 20 years old, and I'm spending the Shabbos in Mannheim. And we let the community know. And we emailed them. They didn't have a full-time rabbi. And they were very excited that we were coming. And they said they're going to make a Friday night dinner in the shoal. About 250 people showed up. Now, they were either Russian or German. I don't speak Russian and I don't speak German. I know 5 words in Russian and I know Yiddish. So they asked me to speak, and I got up there, and it was packed, and everyone was thirsting for a word of spirituality. I ended up speaking in Yiddish, and I think a lot of people actually understood me. The Russians, they knew Yiddish from their home still, and the Germans, if I spoke slow enough, which I usually don't, they were able to understand close enough. And it was this week's Torah portion. And I spoke about Bilam and how he wanted to curse the Jews, and instead he ends up blessing them. But Bilam, in his blessing of the Jewish people, he says one of the blessings that we say every single day, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenosecha Yisrael. How great are your dwelling places. Your tents, Jacob, the dwelling places of Israel. And in fact, the rabbi said that Bilam's prophecy was so great that if it wasn't so long, we would actually place it in the Shema every day. That's how great it was. And every day we sing, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkenosecha Yisrael. And what's the big deal? What was Bilam saying? Because how great are the tents? What was so special about the Jewish tents in the desert? And the answer Rashi gives right away is that basically the Jewish tents Imagine there was 1 million Jewish people dwelling all around the tabernacle. They traveled this way for 40 years, living right next to each other. The way a tent works is you have 3 closed sides and you have 1 open side where you get in and out. So Rashi says that the Jewish people set up their tents in a way that no one's opening of the tent faced the next guy's opening. Each one turned to another side, so everyone had some sort of privacy. And the Midrash discusses this at length, that basically the Jews had what we call in Yiddish farginen someone else, lefargen. They didn't steer into someone's life, into someone's tent to check what he has, his children, his success, his wife, her husband. They let people live and were happy and content for their success. They looked at themselves and saw what they had, and that's what they focused on, not on what the next person had. And what Bilam was saying was that this strength of the Jewish unity, of the farginin, the happiness for someone else, the not being jealous and not checking in on the next person, is what really didn't allow Bilam to curse them and why he had to bless them. And that's why we say this blessing every day, Ma'tova Alach Yaakov, because we want to remind ourselves of the character of how a Jew is supposed to be. Don't look at your neighbor's house and see how big their house is and say, oh, I wish I had their house, I wish I had their Porsche, I wish I had their Tesla and their summer house and their vacation and their kids, and look at his wife, she's beautiful, and look at her husband, he's so successful. And this is what I told him in Yiddish, in Mannheim, 25 years ago. And I remember how they got up and they cheered so much after, and we met, and here were people that just left the Iron Curtain, and people lived in Germany. And it spoke to them. I spoke about the power of Jewish unity. And we live in a time where it's never enough. You could have $100 million, you could create a company, you could be successful, but we're looking to figure out ways to accumulate more. Not more knowledge, not more good deeds, not more kindness, not more children. Maybe I am. But what? More money and more power. And we always look at the next guy. And that's why we say the Matovu every single day. Remember, guys, remember, ladies, what Bilam is telling us is, you know what the success of the Jewish people is? You know what the power is? You know what doesn't allow anyone to curse the Jewish people? It's the way we put our tents. Don't look at someone else and say, oh, I want his, I want hers. Just look at what Hashem gave you. Count your blessings. They say this story about this guy who comes to heaven, he passes away, and he comes into this room and he sees it's busy. There's hundreds of angels, there's things going and coming. He says, what's this? And the angels tell him, this is the shipping center. This is the shipping center where we ship out all the requests of people. And there's so many requests, so it's such a busy place, 300-400 angels there. Then he goes into another room and he sees one angel there and it's quiet. He says, what's this? He says, this is the satisfactory report room. This is where we collect all the reviews and the satisfactory thank yous that we get from people. And of course there was only one angel. Why is it? Did you ever write an angry email to a company or fill out a review and put a 1 at the review? I'm not satisfied, this wasn't good, and you didn't treat me right, the waiter wasn't good, the hotel wasn't good, the pool wasn't good, the thing I bought wasn't good. Yet, when it comes to something great, we never write a review. Thank you, how awesome it was. We always say what we want, what we need more, but not the appreciation we have. So let us learn from Bilam's blessing to the Jewish people. Let us learn from the strength of who we are. And I'll never forget that speech in Germany 25 years ago. May we fargin. May we be happy when our neighbor gets a good job and has a beautiful home and gets a new car and has kids who give them nachas and might have a bigger house than us and might be smarter than us. But look into yourself and count your blessings. Thank you, Hashem, and make sure to write that satisfactory report so the angel up in heaven could be busy and get some company. God bless you. Have a good day.